power in the NBA. And they have one of the most offensive duos ever to play the game of basketball in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Both of those guys looked phenomenal last night. But when you look at the role players, LeVert, Dinwiddie, Jeff Green, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, all those guys are capable of having monster nights, whether it's on the rebounding end or even having 20 points. So I'm looking at this Nets roster, and they have one of the deepest teams in the league. They play with great pace. They share the ball tremendously. They defend at a high level. And by the way, they have the best scorer of all time in my eyes in Kevin Durant, and he's back. He looks 100% healthy. Kyrie looks locked in. Although, look, we could all disagree with a lot of things Kyrie Irving does off the court, but when he gets between those lines, he's a problem.
Yeah, my LeVert power rankings still go Gerald, LeVert, Eddie LeVert, and now Karis LeVert at number 3. He's a bad man. Perk knows what I'm talking about. My wife Shay's looking at me right now, and it's gone over her head. Perk, I got to work on her music choices. She needs to broaden her horizons. Perk, when I watch these Nets, man, I'm telling you, I said to Shay last night as we were watching the game, and you probably don't know, but we're a married couple, so we get to do the radio show, but we're also watching the sports. And the thing that I came away with watching the Nets last night, Perk, I go, don't mess this up. Don't go get James Harden. It'll be the worst thing these Nets could do. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. The Nets don't need to do anything. They have all the pieces that they need. Like you said, they have shooting. And I love the role that Steve Nash has LeVert playing, that sixth man where he could come in and just be aggressive. And we all know that he could get buckets, but I was more impressed by his playmaking ability last night. And right now you have, with the Brooklyn Nets having Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, there's no need to go get James Harden because both of those guys now could, have the ball in their hands. Both of those guys could play off the ball. You don't have to worry about a guy coming in and guys having to sacrifice. Right now, the Nets are put together well. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference. I think they're a top 2 team in the NBA, right behind the Lakers, and shoot, they might be number 1.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the Lakers now. We'll go from the East to the West. Last night, they dropped their first game to the Clippers, but, I think we probably all saw this coming, given the short offseason that they did have and the lack of sense of urgency. But the question I have for you, Perk, is how did the new additions for the Lakers look?
They look good. I think Marc Gasol looked a little bit out of shape. He still has to find his rhythm. And it's not easy for big men. Look, I was a big man in the league, and it takes time. But Dennis Schroeder looked awesome last night. He's going to fit in just well with the Lakers. And also Montrezl Harrell. I would love to see him and Anthony Davis get a lot more minutes on the floor together. Once they get minutes, they're gonna have a tandem defensively that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people don't understand about Montrezl Harrell was that last year he finished top 10 in the NBA in protecting the basket, and he finished top 10 in the NBA in taking charges. So when he's locked in and him and Anthony Davis could figure how to play with one another, they're going to be a dangerous defensive tandem. And offensively, they have more than enough weapons. And this is the first time in a long time that LeBron James is not going to have to do too much on the offensive end. We all know he has Anthony Davis, but now having Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, 2 guys that could go get a bucket without having to rely on LeBron James to set them up, is great for the Lakers.
Perk, I'm trying to figure out, and I'm kind of torn on this one, so I'm looking for some clarity from you on this one. As you mentioned, Montrezl Harrell is a Laker. He's no longer with the Clippers. The Clippers have replaced him with Serge Ibaka. Is Ibaka an upgrade as opposed to Harrell, given the system that the Clippers are trying to push towards now?
I actually think Serge Ibaka fits better with the Clippers than Montrezl Harrell because Serge is a guy that could stretch the floor. He can knock down the three-point shot. He's a guy that actually is a loud threat at the basket, and he don't need post-ups. So Serge is not a guy that's going to run to the block and ask for the ball, and that's not what the Clippers need. So it's good because it gives Kawhi Leonard and Paul George spacing so they could be able to operate and not have the paint clogged up. So I do see him being a slight upgrade. Now, is Serge better than Montrezl Harrell? No, but he's a better fit for the Clippers, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. I was kind of split. You kind of pushed me over the threshold. Perk, before we let you go, we got to touch on the Warriors here. They looked overmatched by a Nets team that was clearly superior in talent with no Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. They were playing uphill the whole time. Warriors look bad defensively, but more importantly, the Warriors look like they don't have the spacers needed offensively to keep up in a shootout. How worried should we be about the Warriors? What is their ceiling this year with no Klay Thompson?
Well, that ceiling is making the playoffs. And I keep telling people this, and a lot of people always laugh at me, but Draymond Green is the leader of that team. He's the heart and soul of that team. Steph Curry is the best player, but that team goes as far as Draymond Green leads them. And when I say that is that he brings a certain type of tenacity. He brings a different type of edge. He gives them swagger. And him not being on the court, they don't have that same swagger. I tell you what, Kelly Oubre looked good last night, in my opinion. James Wiseman looked good to say that he didn't really get a chance to have a training camp or a preseason. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to make the playoffs this season. They might finish top 5 in the Western Conference. Andrew Wiggins will find his rhythm with that culture that they have. So I'm not worried about the Warriors at all. And Steph won't have a bad night like he did last night. Matter of fact, I think Steph will end up finishing in the MVP conversation. If you ask me, he's going to average about 27 points a game. So they'll be just fine.
All right, Perk, thanks for getting up this morning. We'll talk to you soon. You have a good one. And if we don't talk to you, happy holidays. That's
brother.
Kendrick Perkins, ESPN NBA analyst.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. Talk to you soon. So beginning Tuesday, January 5th, Mike Greenberg begins his show Greeny immediately following Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio. Greeny will take you inside the stories of the day as only he can. He'll have the newsmakers you'd expect, and he'll interact with you every single day. From Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin right into Greeny, weekday mornings on ESPN Radio. Here's SportsCenter.
Paul George at the top. Little step back three on its way, and good. What a second half for Paul George. He's given the Clippers a 9-point lead, and he's got 27.
That was courtesy of ESPN Radio. The Clippers, yes, they defeated the Lakers last night, 116-109. Paul George scored 33 points, the most in a season opener by a Clippers player since Blake Griffin in 2015, who also had 33 points. The Lakers never led in a game. The first defending champion to not lead in a season opener the following season since the 2011-2012 Mavericks. The Nets defeated the Warriors last night. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant both eclipsed the 20-point mark for Brooklyn, which beat the Warriors 125-99. Kevin Durant scored 10 of his 22 points within the game's first 5 minutes. And Auburn hires Brian Harsin. Auburn fired Gus Malzahn earlier this month after 8 seasons. Harsin is 69-19 in 7 seasons at Boise State. SportsCenter is presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average. Call or click today and find out if we could save you hundreds on your car insurance. All right, now we are going to go to Ryan Clark. He's our ESPN NFL analyst.